As a 17-year-old, I remember how I'd spent my summer holidays in the ocean, surfing while using my teenage flexibility and invincibility. I remember how I'd show off as what I thought at the time was pure skill, which in reality was a lack thereof. One Saturday afternoon, the tide swell was perfect. I had friends from overseas, and I had to satisfy this image that I was this beach kid that was different to these city kids. I remember them being very impressionable, and I had to take advantage of the situation. So we stationed ourselves on the beach, and I decided to satisfy the stereotype and go for a surf. I see a wave, decide to catch it, set up perfectly, and as I pushed myself on the wave, my back foot wobbled, felt clumsy, and the wave took me over and threw me down. I was in a human washing machine. And while all this tumbling was happening, I felt my board shorts slowly creep its way to my ankles. And as I continued to be tumbled, I made a conscious effort of flexing my toe to grip onto my board shorts for dear life. Fail. I continued to be mashed around, and I knew my issues wouldn't end there. I pop out of the water, my board shorts are not in sight, and embarrassment was around the corner. So this was the issue. I couldn't get on the board since my butt cheeks would be exposed, and some would say could blind people with its glare. So I had to swim alongside the board all the way to the shore. Get to the shore, grab the board, put it in front of me, and sprint to where my friends were sitting. They didn't help the cause when tears were seen rolling down their eyes with amusement. Grabbed the sarong, wrapped it around me, and then I got an applause from nearby suntanners who enjoyed the show. The ocean got the best of me. Sayan 0, water 1. Now let's dive into the substance that every organism on the planet encounters. So how can spirituality and science coexist for water? Water, the only substance that can change from liquid to gas to solid, has memory. Water receives and makes an imprint from any substance that enters into it. When we walk into a river, we leave an imprint of ourselves in that water. Water takes on the shape of thoughts, feelings, intentions, and words. The idolizing of water is ever present on the island of Bali. It is really what brings people to the island. The beach life, the surf life. But more so, the importance of water is to those within the island. From an economic perspective, people rely on water for their individual livelihood. However, the main importance of water lies within its spiritual belief. Civilizations need water, but Bali take it to another level. It is part of a daily ritual which is respected to the highest degree. The Balinese call their flavor of Hinduism the religion of holy water. The womb of water is our first home. Our earthly abode is composed of 70% water, and life arose from Earth's oceans. The Balinese revere water for its mysterious potential, its power to make things grow, and as a medium for spiritual regeneration. For the Balinese, holy water, which is referred to as tirtha, initiates and completes every ceremony. The tirtha used in ceremonies and offerings are either infused from a padanda, a high priest, receive the vibrations from a god or goddess from a particular shrine, or obtained from the sea, mountains, or sacred springs. The Balinese believe that the tirtha is the doorway to God. And unless an offering, a ceremony, or a person has been purified by the tirtha, they will not be able to receive God's blessings. So in short, through mantras, water becomes sacred. These ancient traditions and rituals must still be respected even through the changes of the modern world. Now, upon development, the concept of Trihita Karana has been the bridge between business and spirituality. Trihita Karana solidifies the philosophy of life by highlighting the three causes of well-being: harmony among people, God, and nature. It has been suggested, and it should, be a pillar for sustainable economic development. Now, keep in mind that as recent as 30 years ago, economic benefits revolved around agriculture, which was fed by water. People were generally farmers, and modern first world business philosophy was not present. A more practical applications for the Balinese reverence for water is in the Subak system. Subak is the name of the water irrigation system for the paddy fields in Bali, which was developed over 1,000 years ago. In the Subak system, mutual community agreements overseen by the high priest govern planting cycles, the division of water resources, the financial contributions of members, and their rights and responsibilities. All Subak ceremonies are scheduled by priests in accordance to the celestial timing for the effective growing of rice. The Subak arose as the Balinese developed a reverent relationship of gratitude with the goddess of Lake Batur, Dewi Danu. The ancient Balinese rice farmers understood that in order to receive the prosperous gifts of Dewi Danu, they must first follow her natural laws to ensure abundant harvests. From this arose thousands of temples and shrines throughout the mid and southern regions of Bali. Water flows in a serpentine path, as shown in the animation. The 1,500 subaks in Bali are constructed to follow this natural path, therefore maintaining the natural integrity and happiness of the water. This was Asia's green revolution, which transformed this island into a massive garden, effective to say the least. However, this brilliant sacred geometrical irrigation system is rapidly being torn apart. The unleashed development in Bali, combined with the increased use of GMO-altered rice, which produce higher yields, is poisoning the rivers with malice and chemicals. The iconic rice terraces, inspiring world travelers to visit the island of 20,000 temples, is rapidly disappearing. It is estimated that in the near future, the agricultural loss per year is about 2,000 hectares. Do you know what 2,000 hectares is? It's about 2,404 football fields a year. We don't really live on a big island, but go figure. Now, the irony is that Bali is a lush tropical environment that sits near the equator with a long wet season, yet we have a water shortage. Clean water is another story altogether. Now, a report submitted by the Japan International Cooperation Agency states that at the current rate of water consumption, water will cease to exist as we know it by 2015. The Bali Tourism Office wants 7 million visitors by 2015. The estimate demand, 80,000 liters more or less for a 5-star hotel, which is 31 Olympic-sized swimming pools, is outstripping supply. This, combined with climate change, land subsidence, a declining quality of water, a falling water table, and seawater intrusions contribute to the decrease of available water in Bali. Rice farmers must now compete for water alongside every other human on the island. Urbanization changes our lifestyle, yet we are still the captains of the choice we make here and now. The priorities have changed since the ancient system, which was a lot better. We live on an island famed for its rice paddies, yet the rice supply is not sufficient to feed the island and is thus imported. Reflect on that. Now, from a religious to a scientific outlook, the situation, ironically, is one to consider. For water so idolized, it is also under scrutiny. The respect for water can be bought. Now, the most rational and simple way to solve this problem, although cliche, is to reduce our water footprint. Shower faster. Use less water pressure. And hose the gardens only in dry season in the afternoons or in the early mornings. Because in midday it's hottest. Therefore it evaporates quicker. Therefore the value of water to the plant is lesser. From a business standpoint, it is my responsibility to be aware of how every drop of water can be reduced. I work at Waterbom, which has a closed-circuit water system. Yes, technology has aided us. However, we have found ways that doesn't purely rely on technology. The assumption is that water parks, with the term water, uses a lot of water. Yes, it is a given it uses water. However, it limits itself in its waste and chemicals. What most people don't assume is that the water park uses less water than a golf course, which is an open-circuit system. Now, with golf courses, water is either absorbed or evaporated, so a constant feed is necessary. The issue here and it's going to be a reoccurring theme for the next minute or two, is control or a lack thereof control. Remember, water is fluid. We can dictate its destination. Now, a mid-sized hotel, which let's say has 200 to 300 rooms, uses 7 times more wells than we do. Can you imagine how many wells would be needed for a hotel of 800 rooms? Now this, considering that most hotels have showers. This is another example of an open circuit system. Now with showers, water goes through the drains and generally disappears. This is for shower alone. Forget about the waste and chemicals that enters the pipes. This is another issue that hotels have. Issue of control. They cannot control how long people take showers, hence the need for many wells. Once again, water can be dictated. Now, where water is wasted most at Waterbom is from bather load. Bather load is the water that comes off a person's body after he or she has come out of a pool or anything else that has allowed contact with water. Otherwise, we have a system that reuses and refilters the H2O on an average daily basis, about 3,600 cubic meters. Now, the water park's water system can be compared to the human body. A lazy river, a river that circulates for 250 meters in the park, is the artery. This is where water is distributed to the water slides as well as receiving water from the water slides. And the pumps are the pulse, the beat of it all. This allows for water to move and be transported with relative flow. This system that you see over here applies for 85% of our water attractions. The remaining 15% is still a closed circuit system. However, the only difference is that it doesn't go through or bypass the lazy river. Besides water movement, the quality of water uses a minimal amount of chemicals, enough to kill bacteria and to keep it hygienic. Otherwise, it's almost, I say almost, fresh enough for fish to be able to swim in it. This is where technology does come into effect. We have a high-tech chlorination system that produces natural chlorine in fresh water from a small amount of natural salts and minerals already present. Now the point is, this system can be used in many ways, not just water parks. And the most simple way for us to save water is the installation of push-bottom taps. By this, we control the use of water that comes out of the taps. Water is released for merely 4 seconds. This simple, effective way that most businesses can apply. Now, it is absolutely essential that we review our wells and water meters on a daily basis for us to identify where there are discrepancies and to brainstorm for ways to eliminate waste of this precious resource. Reducing water usage in all reality reduces costs and hence increases profits. There's a motivation for us to save in more than one facet. Solutions are everywhere. Water is a resource that commands respect. Once respect is given, hypocrisy in its use will be minimized. We have to fight for this resource, for once it becomes a scarcity, one only knows what greed makes people do. Without the pressing obligation of legislation, we must find a middle ground that applies the systems of the past with the progresses of the future. The Balinese agricultural tradition entailed complex religious, social, and technical processes that optimize water sharing on the Indonesian island, reduced pest infestations, and successfully yielded rice and other food crops. The greatest achievement in Bali was its agriculture. An extraordinary garden on earth was created. Water is more than just a resource and a necessity. For me, feeling free is when water shapelessly forms itself around my physical being. Have you stood underneath a waterfall? How does it make you feel? Have you dove underneath an ocean and felt weightless as you entered its world, its domain? For me, water touches my spirit and without fail makes me feel alive, even when the ocean flexes and leaves me butt naked. So look back, my friends. For the answer of the future lies about 1,000 years back, somewhere between the rice fields. Thank you.
Sayan Gulino.